Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome into your Arkansas football recruiting report with Otis Kirk. That's Otis Kirk, as always, and I'm Evan Kamiko. Otis, it's been a little bit since I've been able to jump on here with you. We've been doing a lot of baseball stuff, but I'm excited to talk football and specifically football recruits. We got a list of about 7 names to get through, so let's start humming away. Number 1, Otis Kirk, an offensive and defensive lineman from Marion. What do you have on him?
Good point. Good point naming him on both, because he can play both sides of the ball. He's not limited to one side of the ball. I know most people project him to play offense, but I think Arkansas just told him, Darius, you choose where you want to play. And if it were me, I'd probably start him out on defense first, because it's easier to move somebody from defense to offense. You seldom see it. Has happened, but from offense to defense usually doesn't happen. But they're happy to let this kid play either one of the bodies. 6'4", 305, very capable of being, not just playing, but dominating on either side of the ball. He visited this weekend. It looks like he's going to cancel his LSU visit, Evan. That's the biggest news out of this one for now. He was at Missouri last weekend, Arkansas this weekend. He was really set on visiting LSU, but he told me this morning that it looks like that visit's off. Now he could change his mind. I'm sure LSU will try to talk him into keeping it, but he was committed to Arkansas at one time. Don't be surprised if Otis Kirk comes back into the fold with Arkansas. I'm not saying today. I'm not saying it won't be, but I'm not necessarily saying today, but I just don't be surprised if this kid jumps back into the fold with the Hogs. I think there's some good news coming from Marion, Arkansas, and that's big, because this player, like I said, how many players can dominate on both sides of the ball? He can, not just play it, but dominate. He's that good, and he's got a lot of offers. He's a 4-star. So I look for Arkansas to eventually land him, maybe sooner than later, maybe later than sooner. I don't know. But I do think the main thing is I think he will be a Hog again, and this time it'll be for good. So, that's the biggest thing is who you get on campus, and I think he'll eventually be. But he had a great visit. He said he got to see something. One thing that impressed him, Evan, I'll be quick with this. He said he was impressed with how Arkansas didn't get mad at him when he decommitted. He said that tells him they care about the players, the student athlete, not just, well, you're committed. Oh, you decommitted, get out of here. No, I mean, they still treated him great and everything, and that stuck with him. And so that's important to know. And I think that's important in this day and age, because some of these kids visiting, they may not get them. And it's probably true of it is true of each one, but you want to be nice to these kids, because with the transfer portal, you may finish second on some of these kids, but in 2 years you may get them, So it pays to treat people right. It pays to treat people right anyway, but especially in recruiting, because you don't want to burn bridges, because you may have another chance with these kids later on.
Yeah, and as my elementary school teachers always said, honesty is the best policy. So it's good to be honest. It's good to be front right. And again, we've talked about it before, Otis. We can't continue to stress it enough. You got to keep your top in-state talent in the state of Arkansas. Let's move on. We're actually going to go away from Arkansas for this one, down to West Palm Beach in Florida with Wade and Charles, a wide receiver.
Yeah, and I went away from Arkansas for just a minute. We're going to go back to him in a minute. Mm-hmm. But this kid's got 32 offers. He's got a teammate, Kamari Williams, committed to Arkansas. Wade is a 4-star. Kamari's a 4-star. Can you imagine putting those 2 4-star receivers out there together? And I asked Wade this morning, I said, does Kamari being committed here, does that, he'll visit in 2 weeks, by the way. I said, does that impact your decision? I really thought he'd say no, that he'll make his decision, I'll make mine. He said, yes, it does, big. It really, he said, we played together a long time. We have great timing together. We've got we know what each other does well, and we can play wide receiver together. We've done it for a long time. He said, yes, that is a big factor in my decision. And he said, we have talked a lot about playing at the same college. So I think there may be some good news from Wade and Charles here coming eventually. Ronnie Fouch is recruiting him. Bobby Petrino made a good mark on him yesterday. But, if you can go into West Palm Beach Central High, and you can land 2 4-star receivers, and these kids have offers from Florida State, Miami. I mean, it's not like they're beating, they're not beating, some small school for these kids. Everybody in the country's offered both these kids. They're 4-star recruits, got good speed. They can run track if they want to. And it's typical Ronnie Fouch. Alyssa was on here the other day. I think it was maybe it's Courtney. But anyway, we talked a lot about Ronnie Fouch's recruiting speed, Evan. I think that's the biggest difference I've seen with Ronnie is every one of these receivers can run. In the past, maybe they'd gone for a little bit more size, these kids are 6'1", 6'2". Waden's 6'2", 185. So he's not small, but I think I think Roddy may sacrifice, and this goes back to Bobby Petrino too. I think he will sacrifice a little size for speed. I think that's what they're looking for at wide receivers. A lot of speed, guys that can catch football, can run with it. But Wade Charles told me, look, I want to be the complete receiver. I want to catch football. I want to block. I want to be physical. I want to run good routes. So he's a perfectionist, and I think Arkansas will get him if he and Caffrey both come here. That's Roddy Fauci deserves a raise for landing those two if he gets both those kids.
Yeah, notice it's something that I think was missing last season from the Arkansas wide receiver room. There wasn't a lot of speed there, so seeing the change in philosophy for the receiver coach and Bobby Petrino is something that'll be really interesting to keep watching as it continues to develop. Let's go back in state with probably the biggest news of the week. Quentin Murphy committing to Arkansas, committing to Sam Pittman, wanting to play for coach and be here on the Hill. Can you dive a little bit deeper into what he's going to bring to this Arkansas team?
Yeah, he's going to bring some versatility. 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", 205, probably 6'1". But anyway, a tall kid, got good size, played quarterback. He played at Joe T. Robinson until this year, but he's going to play quarterback for Little Rock Parkview, one of the top teams in the country. And he's going to be an athlete here at Arkansas, capable of playing a lot of positions. And Quentin can do that. He can play receiver, quarterback, running back, defensive back, safety. I mean, any of those positions. So he's going to be an athlete. But I think what happens is, you're recruiting 5 players for Parkview, and you can't go 5 for 5 till you get the first one. Jacob and I talked about that last week. You got to get the first one to be 5 for 5. And so you're 1 of 1 now, and you had the other one on camp. One of the others on campus today. But just Quentin, I think he's got a good attitude. He's well liked in the state. Got versatility. Got good, decent speed, and just can bring some talent to a lot of different positions. He doesn't necessarily. You don't have to pencil him in and say, well, we'll have to play him at receiver. We'll have to play him defensive back, because actually he can play all of those. So I like him a lot. I like the kid. He told me the day he was offered, I never will forget, it was a night over at U of A. He was at a football camp, and he was getting ready to go in and talk to Sam Pittman. And he said, I'll be a Razorback. If they offer me one day, I'll be a Razorback. And so he kept his word, and I'm proud to got him. He's a good kid. And the biggest thing too, Evan, he's just a good kid. I mean, a really good kid. He's got a great personality. The media, when you guys come over and interview him in the interview room, you'll love him. He talks really good. He's got a good personality. Just brings a lot of, I think the biggest thing, to answer your question, I think he brings versatility to the program, to the team. Versatility.
Yep. Always good to have versatility. We'll continue forward. Omarion Robinson, what do you have on him?
Boy, he's his teammate there at Parkview. And I'm going to tell you, Robinson, we call him Man. Because I don't know if his first name's Omarion or Omarion. I don't know. Because I know Omarion Harris is Omarion, even though everybody calls him Omarion. But Man, he safety. Going now, it's June the 29th. It's between Arkansas, LSU, Oregon, and OU. And he eliminated Georgia. It was a top 5. He eliminated Georgia. Here's the deal with him. You get Card, Man, and Grayson Wilson. That's your top 3 players in Arkansas, Evan. You can put them in any order you want to. I don't care. But those are the top 3. I'm talking about 2025 class. I want to emphasize that. In 2025 class, any order you want to. Grayson Wilson, Carius Kern, and Man. And if Arkansas can keep all 3 of those kids at home, and they've got competition. But if they can keep them at home, it's going to be huge. Robinson is he went to LSU last week. He'll be at Arkansas. Was in Arkansas this weekend. He will be at OU and Oregon the next couple of weeks. And then on June the 29th, he will announce that decision. And, Murphy's working on him. And I think that's big, too. You get Quentin Murphy. You've got his teammate. Visited with him. They're good friends. And I mean, he's listening to Quentin. So we'll see how it works. Some people think he's going to OU. He may very well do it. But I think Arkansas is going to be in it till the end. I think this visit probably helped them a lot. And the biggest thing is just getting Robinson and Kern on campus this weekend. You've got to get them on campus, And I think it paid off with Kern, and I think it very well could pay off with Robinson.
And we always talk, Otis. So anytime, football, the staff thinks they can get a kid on campus, anytime they can get him here, 9 times out of 10, they end up getting him to stay here on campus because it's just hard not to sell this place. And we'll continue to move forward. 4 down, 3 to go on our list. Zion Williams out of Texas, a defensive lineman.
Yeah, Lufkin, Texas, home of Vernon Wade and a lot of other players who play here. And I'm going to tell you, he is not Zion Williamson. It's Zion Williams. But, man, I'm going to tell you, I saw him listed at 6'4", 295 on a recruiting profile. I think that's when he was born. This kid is 6'5", 340 pounds. He was 290 pounds when he was born. There's no way on God's green earth this kid is 290 pounds. He's 6'5", 340. He is a man. I mean, you talking about a mountain. And he had it down to 4 schools. And Deke Adams refused to give up. And Deke called him and talked to him and told him, said, could one visit make a difference? Because I don't want you to visit if you're just going to be taking a visit just to get a free weekend. He said, yeah, 1 weekend could make a difference. He said he got here, he'd never seen anything like this community, never seen anything like the coaches. He said, this visit has blown me away. He said, now it's 5 schools for July the 4th. And it's Arkansas, LSU. Seems like we're kind of getting a pattern here. Arkansas, LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, and TCU. That's this kid's 5 schools. He will announce on July the 4th. And I mean, you talking about a mountain. I mean, if I'm a center and I'm lined up opposite him, I'm probably doing a short prayer. I'm getting religious to do a prayer. Man, this kid is huge. Like I said, I saw that 6'4", 290, and then he walked up to me this morning, and I'm thinking, that had to be when he was born. I mean, he is absolutely, and this 6'5", 340 is not overhyping it. He is huge, and he's not fat. He's very intelligent, very intelligent, and he can just dominate the line of scrimmage. He's a 4-star. But yeah, Lufkin, Texas. They've sent some kids to Arkansas. Sparky Hamilton was from Lufkin, Vernon Wade. There was others. I can't remember all of them. I hate when I name it because then I'll have kids, people I'm friends with on Facebook from those towns will mess me. So you got me. Yeah, I did. but I can't remember. But I just know that Lufkin's been good to Arkansas. John Outlaw, who actually I was going to do my student coaching under before I switched to the media, was the coach at Arkadelphia then. He went to Lufkin for a while, Evan. And so, I'm very familiar with Lufkin High School. And boy, I don't know if Arkansas will get this kid, but Deke Adams made a strong impression on him. He just said he went back to the same thing that Kern and others talked about, how Arkansas cares about their players. And he said it came through. It was very clear. And he said, of my 3 visits, this has been the best one so far. And he just because he said the community, the honesty is beautiful up here, and like it's not a huge city either, but he liked it. And if I was picking, I'd probably say, 4 out of 5 chances he doesn't come. So I'd probably say 80% chance he doesn't come. But the fact that Arkansas got in on him after he had announced the top 4 and made it just interesting, you got to think they got a chance, So, hey, you're going for the best. You're not going to get them all. But there's another kid, like I said a while ago. You want to make a good impression on him because you weren't even in the top 4. You get in the top 5. Wherever he goes, if it by chance it didn't work out, and he remembers how he loved this up here, who knows, in a year or 2, 3 years, whatever. So you want to. I like how they're bringing in these top-notch recruits, and once again, they're not going to get them all. We know that, Evan. They couldn't get them all if they wanted to. But I think they'll get their share. But Deke's done a really good job. And saying all of them. But I like the chance. I like the fact they got this kid and got in on him that late and made an impression.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance, always something that you want to hear. Let's move on. 2 more to go. Lionel Prudhomme, offensive lineman. This time, he is from Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah,
big offensive lineman. 6'3", 300 or so. It seems weird because I'm talking about 6'3", 300 because this week, I've been talking about all these mountains up here, those kids. So, but he's a huge kid for a high school player in 11th grade. But, we got to remember all these kids are 11th graders. But going into their senior year next year. But Lionel's down to Arkansas, Tulane, Texas Tech, and, and Mississippi State. And he said he may or may not take all those visits. And, I asked him, I said, is there a chance you might pull the trigger? He said, there's a chance. So he may commit to Arkansas. He may not. But I'm just saying, he was one of the visitors that I got a feeling on, along with Carius Kern, that a decision might come sooner rather than later. Does that make sense? I
Mhm.
mean, you know, I talk to these kids, and some of them I know, like the 4th of July, June the 29th, those decisions are probably not going to be coming before then. But and it may not on Lionel, but I got the feeling with he and Kern that the decision might come sooner rather than later. And if Kern cancels that LSU visit, like he says, then he's probably further ahead in the process because he's from Arkansas, and also he's talking his visits. This kid's just kind of starting on his visit. But if Arkansas can land there, I tell you, I talked about Faust and I talked about Deke Allen, but Eric Mateus deserves a lot of praise too. He's brought in a lot of offensive linemen. They're in the mix for him, and they got Blake Cherry of Owasso last week, and he'll be here next weekend, by the way. But yeah, but I like Lionel. He's a very good player. Just we'll see. But I feel pretty good about him because, like I said, he kind of brought up the fact that he wasn't with that way I was asking him questions. He brought up the fact that he might not take those other visits kind of on his own, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what gave me kind of a feeling that his decision might be coming sooner rather than later. Some of these other kids, that's not happening. But on him, I think it could.
Yeah, and we'll just have to wait and see what that decision is and see when he announces it. All right, let's take it home right now. Micah Jones, a tight end, Madison Central, Mississippi, the last one of the day. Otis, wrap it up.
Oh, man. And a man, too. 6'5", 240. I mean, I told he and his dad, I said, this is what tight end's supposed to look like. I mean, hey, I said, this is what tight end's supposed to look like. This kid walks in, 6'5", 240, comes up to me, smiling, happy, followed me on Twitter, or X, I'm sorry. Followed me there. I followed you on there, man. And just a nice kid. I told him thank you, you know. And just, but God almighty, I mean, 6'5", 240, got hands. Whew, I mean, I don't know if the coach Morgan Turner will get him or not, but here's something I asked him. I said, does the fact that Arkansas has had 2 Mackey Award winners in recent years possibly impact you? He said, oh, you bet it does. So Arkansas's hammered that fact home that they use the tight ends, they get recognized at Arkansas. And you know what? By the time this kid gets here, and if he comes and gets out of school, they may have 3 Mackey Award winners. Because I really think Luke, DJ Williams and I were talking down in Arlington last year, and we both agree that Luke's probably going to win the Mackey Award if he stays healthy eventually. You know, we had that discussion down there in Arlington at the A&M game. I mean, unfortunately, Luke got hurt that game, but I do think Luke's got a great chance to win the Mackey, the Mackey Award. And this kid's kept up with that. Arkansas has made that a fact. And, you know, you got DJ Williams, Hunter Henry. And so, yeah, but yeah, he's got, you know, some schools like Mississippi State, Missouri, Arkansas. So we'll see where he lands. But I like Arkansas's chances there. He's from Mississippi. So you probably got to think, well, it may be hard to get him out there. It probably will be hard to get him out there. But, man, he's the type, if you can pull in, there's you another tight end to line up out there. And he's got, like I said, that 6'5", 240 is legit. I mean, he's big.
Yeah.
He looks like, they're bringing in kids right now. It's the 11th graders. It looks like they could, if I was with the LA Rams, I'd be thinking these kids may be ready to play for us. I'm serious. They're recruiting side. They're not recruiting kids. Some of these kids they'll always get them bigger and redistribute the weight. But these are kids that are pretty much size-wise, physical ready, should be physically ready to play football immediately. So Arkansas likes to bring those high school kids in at midterm. And so, but we'll see where Micah ends up. But Arkansas is definitely in the top 3. And he said I asked him, and he said they may be number 1 after this. They may be number 1, he said. So we'll see. I didn't get the feeling on him, though, that it was going to be sooner rather than later. He said sometime this summer before the season starts. So I don't think he's one of those. But Lionel and Kern might be the ones to watch for sooner. And I'm not saying today, but just sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see when these guys, what their timelines look like and how quickly they are to make a final decision, and, you know, kind of the other names that'll pop up over the next couple of weeks that we'll get to talk about as the summer rolls on and school kind of dies down and these guys get to focus on a good summer. But Otis, that is going to do it for this Sunday for the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. That's Otis Kirk. I'm Evan Kamiko. Thank you so much at home for tuning in. Have a great summer, everyone. We'll be here plenty over the summer talking recruits for all you need to know. That's going to do it for us today. Have a great day.